Hello, and welcome to Rock Your Block, where we highlight individuals who are making a meaningful impact in our community. I'm your host, Larry Laws, founder and president of First Home Alliance, a HUD-approved housing counseling agency serving the National Capital Region. On today's First Home Alliance segment, we're honored to welcome a remarkable leader in financial education and risk management. She's the founder of Money Umbrella LLC, a financial risk management advisor with a doctorate and a background in academia. She brings a structured educational approach to financial literacy, protection planning, and tax effective strategies. Her work focuses on helping families and business owners understand how money, risk, and policy decisions intersect across income, taxes, and long-term securities. Her insights have been featured in Forbes magazine and Global Woman magazine. And she is passionate about education as the founder for financial empowerment. Please join me in welcoming to the show, Dr. Lynn Trayon. Dr. Lynn.
Hi, Larry.
All right. Well, thank you for being on the show today.
Thank you for inviting me to be on the show today.
Yes. So how was your trip in?
I'm so sorry.
How was your travel here?
Oh, well, it was very quiet. I mean,
Yes.
I live in Arlington, so
Yes.
you know how crazy traffic could be around this time. But
Yes.
yeah, we head out early. Risk management. Right?
Yes,
So-
yes. Limit the risk by on
I
time,
got,
right?
Yeah, I
Yes,
got here
ma'am.
2:24 sharp.
Yes. Well, Dr. Lynn, I really want to take our time and get through this and talk, for our audience to get to know you, more about you, introduce you to the DMV.
Yay! I get to talk about myself
You gotta
on
talk
local
about-
channel.
Yes,
Oh my
yes.
God! All my dreams have come true.
Yes, yes. And so I see you. It seemed like you have two careers here, but actually, sort off in music. Tell us about that side of you.
Yes, sir. So I grew up in Vietnam. I spent 18 years of my life in Vietnam. I started in musical training when I was 4 years old. By 6 years old, I got into the Hanoi Conservatory. Now they renamed to Vietnam National Academy of Music. And it was a very rigorous, they had a long-term training. It's like, think about like 11 years.
Wow.
From like K to 12 or something like that.
Yes.
So yeah, the program over there when I was going to school was 11 years before college. And then after that, you would graduate high school.
Right.
And then you would go into the college in the same system, or you could set out, and there are a lot of exchange or international exchange student program.
Yes.
But I did not really go that route.
Okay.
So, yeah, so a little bit about myself. I am an immigrant
Yes.
from Vietnam. Came here, study music. I didn't want to study music at first, but I actually started
Yes.
out as psychology.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I
Okay.
almost graduated with a double major in psychology and music.
Yes.
But then I met this wonderful instructor named Brian Gans, and he kind of reminded me how great it felt to play the piano and be able to move people
Right.
just by playing the piano. Like music can move
Right,
you
it can.
more than words can sometimes.
Yes.
And and I remember at one point during one of the lessons that we had together, he stopped me in the middle of the lesson and he told me, "Do you know how rare it is to be able to make people cry just playing the piano, just performing
Wow.
the piano?" And I have heard this many times from my friends who joined my recitals. And
Yes.
that was,
sound like yes.
it was like a light bulb just came into my head, and I'm like, I already have this foundation.
Yes.
Why don't I just go to the end and try to climb the mountain as high as I can? And so, next thing I know, I applied to the master degree at George Mason University after college. I got offered a lot of scholarship thanks to my mentor, Dr. Linda Monson. So went through my master for 2 years and then completed my doctorate within the next 5 years, also all on scholarship.
Okay.
So very
And
thankful.
so when it says academia, it seems like you've been you love education.
Yes, yes, and no.
Yes and no.
So it all depends, right?
Yes.
I don't believe that every teacher would be a perfect match for every single student.
Yes.
That is the one thing that I learned very early in my life. Just because this one's teacher works very well with 10 other students, it doesn't mean that she or he is going to be a great teacher for you. So it's more about like finding that one person who aligns with your long-term vision, the teaching style, and the emotional intelligence have to match. So
Right.
I learned that very early in my life, and that kind of translate a lot into what I do now with finance.
Yes. And so with the music, what feedback was you getting from the audiences that you performed for?
Well, they mixed. It's a mixed bag of everything.
Yes.
So I mean, if you don't know about the classical music repertoire for us higher educational folks, for every single semester we have to prepare a program that include all 4 main genres of classical music. We have Baroque music, we have classical music, romantic, and then contemporary. So you kind of have to prepare at least 4 to 5 pieces that span across the timeline, right? And so usually, romantic, I like to choose something that is very mellow, like maybe a Chopin ballade or something. And the feedback most of the time are, oh, I tear up,
Really?
or like that is so beautiful. Like I
Yes.
just couldn't help I couldn't hold back my tears. Or sometime if let's say I play the Beethoven, I play Beethoven Appassionata
Okay.
Sonata at one point, and the third movement. I don't know if you've heard listened to that piece, but the third movement was like like really really fast, and it went even faster during
Yes.
the last
The runs.
last section.
Yes.
And so I had family and friends who came to me and said, we were hanging on by the
rails.
chair. Like we were ready to
Yes.
jump out of our chair. So yeah, it is a mixed bag.
Yes.
But the point is, if you can actually move people to have that kind of feeling
Yes.
or emotions just by playing the piano or playing any instrument
yes.
at all, it just
Yes.
means that you have what it takes
Yes.
to be
Yes.
successful. Now you just need to have discipline and practice.
That's true. Yes. And so with that, and how far did you go into the professional and working in that area?
Yes. So I started working as soon as I got to the area and I got my working permit, because I started out as a F1 visa student.
Yes.
So it was really, really tough for me to actually find somewhere to work legally. So I think I applied for that in 2016, and so ever since I have been teaching around the area. I also would take gigs, so if there's any like a wedding or maybe a church, something, or like a high school reunion
Yes.
that needs that kind of music, then they would contact me directly, and then I would prepare a repertoire, and then I would go. So yeah,
Yes.
oh my
And so
God.
you're still active in that? in
Not
performance?
actively performing anymore.
Okay.
Because again, time is a little bit hectic
Yes.
these days. My schedule is everywhere. But yeah, I just resumed teaching at 2 of the local music schools in Fairfax.
Okay.
So yeah, hopefully we'll see more students coming.
Yes. And so how did those numbers and notes and things interest you in reference to the financial side of this?
This is an interesting misconception among people, because finance is not just about the number,
Okay.
right? Of course, the numbers make everything easier to track, right? Let's say like 30, you do 30% of your income into this basket, and then 30 go into the other one, and then 40 go to the other one. That is, kind of like a concept.
Yes.
Right? Now, the concept that I like to educate my clients is think about finance as a 3-legged stool, right?
Okay.
You need a basket of protection. You need a basket of investment for future growth, and then eventually you're gonna get to the point of distribution,
Okay.
right? What can you do with your money? You either use it, or somebody else is gonna use it,
That's
like
true.
your kids, right?
That's true.
or the bank. I don't know. But yeah, it's all about the concept, and I only teach the concept. I
Okay.
have a team to support me behind the scene, and depending on the case, I would gather the information. This is called an approach or fact finding.
Yes.
So I would run the fact finding, and I ask them all the questions that they might not have thought of.
Okay.
Like, let's say, what is your vision in 5 years or 10 years, right?
Right.
Let's say they buy this house. What is your plan for this house in 5 years or 10 years or after you pass? What about if you have a new business? What is the exit strategy? A lot of people don't think about those things.
Right.
So my main job is to just ask the questions that matter and start the thinking process.
Yes.
And then I would gather information, I toss it to my team, they do a case console, and then I present the result. So it's not all about the math.
Yes. And so some of the things that you're doing in the community, so tell me about some of the networks that you're working within.
Wonderful. I'm glad that you asked. So yes, I am a member of the Tower Club Tyson. This is a business hub that people could come and like have business meetings and meals and whatnot. I meet a lot of my clients actually come from the Tower Club because business owners this is one phrase that I learned from an attorney last week or 2 weeks ago. Just because you have a business doesn't mean that you are a business owner.
True.
Right. And that's actually, unfortunately, that is what I see every single day. You could have a business, you could say you have this startup and blah, 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 but if you don't have all the tools and all the necessary vehicles to set things up so that you can run the business with a peace of mind,
Right.
right? Then it maybe you're not ready to actually call yourself a business owner just yet.
Okay, yes. And so what are some of the things that disallow you? I know you're a member of the Chamber as well. And
Yes.
so what do you do with the Chamber of Commerce?
The Chamber of Commerce in Prince William, that's where
Yes.
we met,
Yes.
right? So I like to go out there. I really admire the series for women leadership, right? And they also do a lot of events for the nonprofit spaces. I mean, I know that you belong in that space.
Yes.
So it's just really nice to go out there and listen to what people have to say about how they run their business, what kind of impact they're looking to spread among the community, and just to chime in whenever I can find an opportunity to bring some value on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I want to dig into some of those areas that in reference to the cash flow and some of the things that you share with your audience and some of the things you have educated our community on. Okay. And so we're going to dive into that right after the break.
Yeah. Okay.
So we're about to take a short break, but before we go, I want to remind you that First Home Alliance is a HUD-approved housing counseling agency. If you're preparing to buy a home, or you're recovering from financial hardship, or simply seeking clarity about your mortgage, visit HUD.gov to find a certified housing counseling agency in your area. We'll be right back after the break. Stay tuned.
Start living the dream of home ownership with help from First Home Alliance. Free orientation classes are held the third Saturday of each month from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. and lunch will be served. Classes include topics like personal finance, credit issues, the lending process, the role of the agent, home inspection, and loan closing. Don't wait. Call First Home Alliance today to register or go to firsthomealliance.org for more information and start your dream of home ownership today.
Welcome back to Rock Your Block. I'm Larry Laws of First Home Alliance. And we are here with Dr. Lynn of Money Umbrella LLC. Dr. Lynn, I want you to talk a little bit more about some of the other organizations that you work with here in the area.
Thank you for that question. So I am a proud Rotarian for the Rotary Club in DC. We are an organization that is deeply into community service and philanthropy work. I just actually on board with them last week, and I'm going to be on a few committees already. But my number one concern with the world right now, with the peace for the world is education, right? So children education, and I have seen through over so many years of teaching piano, sometimes I had to let a few students go just because they could not afford to get the lessons anymore.
Yes.
So it's one of the projects that I have thought about, which is having a foundation just
Correct.
for students who are deep into music and art, and kind of help them with the tuition for music lessons and extra curriculum activities.
That is great. It's a way of, some people say giving back, but I think it's just sort of like just giving, and that is good that you have the desire to give and promote our community.
I don't think it's giving back. I
No.
think it's more like helping nurture another generation. Because
Yes.
of course we don't want the world to end with our generation.
Correct.
Right? So I'm very fortunate to be born in a family where my parents are super generous with my education and like all the funding and everything. I don't even have any student loan. But
That's
I
great.
feel like every parents, when they choose to have children, should start thinking about something like that. Set up something so that you can help your next generation thrive in life instead of
Yes.
being stuck with student loan and all the hardship out there.
That's correct. It's hard for them to thrive when they're trying to survive.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Well, let's talk a little bit about that. The clarity and basically in that, in wealth growth.
Okay. What did you want to? What did you want to know about? Now is the time for you to ask me questions.
Well, before you was, I think you talk about a cash flow model. What is your thought about cash flow?
Cash flow for me is very simple. You have a certain amount of money that you bring in every single month. After you minus out all the fixed expenses, right?
Yes.
All the essential to allow you to survive, then you are going to have surplus, leftover money. Right? And what you do with that money is very, very important. It all depends on your risk tolerance, the life stage that you're in, and the short-term and long-term vision that you have for yourself, right? So a cash flow and how to manage cash flow for a brand new graduate from college, it's gonna be very different from a 35-year-old single mom.
Correct.
And very different from a 55-year-old male who just exit the military and start having a business. So
Right.
it all depends on the life stage and the risk tolerance. But the first thing that we can do is, of course, to identify the surplus, the cash flow, and then based on the risk tolerance and what situation they're in, then we will find a balanced approach to like how many % of that leftover should go into protection or long-term investment or short-term investment, things like that.
Okay.
It all depends.
Okay. And what some of the things the person should be considering in reference to, judging their tolerance?
Dependence, major life events. So let's say you are a single female, just graduated college, right? You have no dependents. You don't
Right.
have to take care of any, senior grandparents in your family. Nobody actually depend on you and your income. So your risk tolerance is a little bit lower on the death benefit side. Let's say, like legacy side.
Right.
However, because this is a time for you to start building and start working, your income is going to be your number one asset. And so your protection for your income, we have income protection, right? Disability insurance, or in another technical word, that is going to be your number one priority when it comes to risk management.
Okay.
Right? And without setting up a very solid foundation of protection, doesn't matter how much money you invest or build on top of it, you cannot live in a house with a crooked foundation forever. At one
Correct.
point, something is going to crack, and you're
Yes.
going to have to go back in there and fix it. And that's probably going to be much more devastating to you in comparison to if you set that up properly at the beginning.
Correct.
And then you can start building on top of it with a peace of mind. And whatever you do, you have this, safety net
Yes.
to fall back onto.
And what is the ideal of maybe a good foundation? If you're trying to build a foundation, maybe starting a family and maybe not. Prior to starting a family, you want to even have your foundation fixed before you actually start trying to build with someone else. What would be considered a good foundation financially?
Absolutely. So in finance, in risk management, the main vehicles that we use for risk management is insurance, right? Because that's basically mitigating the risk. This
Okay.
is sharing risk among you and the company that work with you. So life insurance, term life insurance is the non-negotiable if you have dependents. Right? If
Okay.
you have a spouse, you have dependents, you have children, then you need to make sure that if anything happened to you, their life is not going to be devastated.
Okay.
Right? Number two, income protection. If you are actively working and you're bringing in income, you cannot miss income protection. And a lot of the time, people don't know the nuances with income protection, but I would love to talk to them, outside of this. I'm not going to bust anybody on this call. Let's keep it educational. And then on top of that, health insurance, if you're young and when you're young, you have a lot of leverage to work with insurance because that's what they look for. That's how you can qualify for, like lower premium or whatnot. So those are the basket for risk management.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, and we'll come back again and go deeper into some of those protections there. What I would like to talk about is the individuals that may be transitioning in their life. You mentioned about the 55-year-old getting out of the military transition. We have people that I have a son that decided to change career at 40 years old, and so they may be going from one situation, stepping out, becoming an entrepreneur. And so, what are some of the things that you can talk about in transitioning?
This is something that I learned on the phone, just by the way, from a very, very, very senior life insurance agent. She told me one time that if you know any military personnel who is about to make the transition, please tell them to find their own portable life insurance and income protection before they go in and claim disability. Because again, risk management, insurance company, based on your medical record and sometime even your credit score and your asset and whatnot, they scan all of that just to make sure that you're a good candidate to work with them, that your risk is tolerable for them to take on, right? So if you already claim your disability, sometime if you have like 100% disability, a lot of the time you could become uninsurable.
Yes.
Yeah, and even so, then after that, even if you want to protect your family on an affordable price, you can't.
Correct.
So yeah, that's the one thing that I really want to remind every military personnel to please take care of before actually making the claim for disability pay.
That is good information. Yes. Okay. What about someone that maybe wanted to start a business? They want to step out and become an entrepreneur.
Make sure that your personal finance is definitely on a good standing before going into entrepreneurship.
Yes.
Right. Okay. If something happened to your business and your family cannot survive, that's probably a sign that you're not ready for this journey just yet. So there are a lot of things that we can do with that, right? We can easily pick up something on the side, part-time, and then what is the saying? Use your 9 to 5 to fund your 5 to 9.
Right.
Yeah. A lot of people make this transition very emotionally. Oh, I just got fired, or like I hate my boss, so I'm just going to. No, this is a real life story actually. I have some of my clients actually called me on the phone and they said, I am so I'm pissed off with my boss. I am done working for this lady. I am going to quit and I'm just gonna branch out myself tomorrow. And then, well, I'm not here to judge or anything,
right.
But again, if your income and your family future is, rely on your income, then maybe make that transition a little bit more gradual than sudden.
Okay.
Yeah.
Should have a good plan.
Yes. Or actually, I love military personnel who actually live off of their pension and then start something.
Yes.
I really admire that. And I think that is the best situation to be in to start a business.
Yes. Well, I'm fortunate to have had the opportunity to do that.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for the pension, I couldn't take on some of the things that I do. Yeah. Yes. Okay, Dr. Lin, really it's been great to have you here on the show today. And I would like for you to tell our audience, some ways that they can get more information and maybe get in contact with you.
Absolutely. So again, thank you so much for having me on the show. Now, if you like the things that I just shared today, you can always book a one-on-one with me at any time. My email address is ltafinance@mymoneyumbrella.com. You can also visit my website at mymoneyumbrella.com or check out my LinkedIn profile. I usually write a lot on those platforms just for the educational purposes. So thank you so much.
Now it's time for our inbox segment where we answer your question about financial stability and housing. Today's question comes from Arlington, Virginia. I received a letter from a mortgage company saying that my forbearance period is expiring soon. What does that mean? Well, that means your temporary pause or reduction in payments is ending. It does not mean foreclosure is automatic. You must contact your mortgage servicer immediately to discuss your options. Those may include a loan modification, repayment plan, partial claim, or other loss mitigation solutions. The key is proactive communication. If you are unsure of your next steps, contact a HUD-approved housing counseling agency like First Home Alliance. Visit us at firsthomealliance.org. Once again, I want to thank Dr. Lynn for joining us and for helping our audience understand that financial clarity is not about complexity. It's about structure, education, and protection. To learn more about her work, check out her website or connect with her on social media. I'm Larry Laws Sr., founder and president of First Home Alliance, and it's been my honor to share our mission, empowering families and strengthening financial literacy and supporting sustainable home ownership. If you have questions that you would like to be answered on this show, email us at help@firsthomealliance.org. Until next time, join us again to rock your block.